the garage. We are gonna go over the boat. Last video, we actually messed with setup, raised the motor 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna work with the prop a little more, haven't done that yet. We're gonna check another couple of things today, but otherwise we're gonna go over the boat. First thing I'm gonna do is just kind of give an overview, go over what I've done to the boat, problems that either I've induced on the boat, which I've absolutely done. I'm not nice to these boats. I'm not nice to any boat. I mean, it's an aluminum boat. I'm gonna beat on it. And this year's duck season was actually pretty interesting. It was a learning experience for me, but that's how I ended up with this specific boat. But when I bought it, I'll go over a couple of things that, some issues that it actually had when I bought the boat itself that are still kind of messed up, and is why I'm probably fighting a little more setup than I should, but we'll get into that. So we're gonna go outside and we're gonna go check it out. Oh shit. So I've got her out in the street right now. Haven't backed her into the garage, but just quick overview. 2013 Express 18 foot. It is not a DB. So when I actually bought it, I couldn't find a boat in Louisiana, or I'm sorry, in Texas that I really cared for. Everything was really kind of beat up worse than this one was, and I don't know, I didn't see anything I liked. I work in Louisiana a lot, and I didn't mind making the drive, and I found this one online. The guy actually, I asked him, he told me it was a DB, an 18-foot Express DB. And whether it was a DB or a bayou or not, I was going to buy it for the price that I'd paid for it. I didn't really care. But I ended up calling Express, and they actually ran the whole number for me. And it ended up being a bayou, which is actually, I think it's better. The hull is thicker on the bayous. The hull itself, it's not a hyperlift hull, so that's the downside of everything. But the bayou itself, the DBs are a .100 hull. The bayou is a .125, so it's an 1/8 inch hull. It's a little heavier, which my old Express, my last Express, was a .125. So I actually kind of liked that. It could take maybe a little more of a beating. And this one's taking a beating, that's for dang sure. But so I ended up with a 18-foot bayou with a Yamaha F70 on the back. So one thing about this, being that it is a bayou model, the transom design is pretty much strictly for mud motors. So you can actually see the little spots where the mud motor originally was mounted. But it was actually, this was direct mounted to the transom, and it was kind of low. We've done a couple of things since then. The hull's not really designed for an outboard, but it's just a flat bottom boat, so really it's not that big of a deal. First thing I did, had to have a kick plate. So how the story goes, I had a 20-foot Express tunnel hull, and I've been hunting here in East Texas with it. And, you know, getting stuck in the timber or on a log or on a mud flat, and that thing to deal with by yourself is a pain in the butt. So began the hunt for the 18-foot. Ended up with this one. Sold it Thanksgiving of last year. Bought this one the following week. I got lucky and found this boat. But anyways, first thing I did was put this kick plate on. And the hydrofoil actually came later, but we've been playing with setup. I think we got it in a good spot. Now we're going to start messing with the prop itself. But as far as issues with the boat, you know, at first glance, paint's coming up. Every one of these that I see around this year model, 11, 12, 13, whatever, they all kind of have this issue. So maybe at some point I'll care enough to repaint the boat. But really it's not really causing me much grief. It's a beater of a boat. I'm not worried about scratching it or anything like that, so it doesn't really bother me. And a lot of this is going to end up with probably more of this turf anyways to cover up a lot of this, and the outside is not doing that, so it really doesn't look bad. As far as everything that already came on the boat, it came with a 24-volt trolling motor, which is awesome. There's 2 batteries in this Tractor Supply toolbox, which actually fits perfectly. I, of course, rewired the entire boat, you know, just because, not just because, I couldn't stand the wiring, but redid everything, ended up with a, oh gosh, never mind the mess, but one of these little relay boxes. It has the nice little panel, little 6-gang panel, and the relays are in here, which is really nice. I installed the bus bar because I'm not running anything off of these batteries. These are just for the trolling motors. That is the starting battery and everything else that come with it. But it also runs the stereo that came with it. And then I have a Helix 5 Humminbird that mounts right here. I always take it off. But that got me going for duck season. Also, it has this giant freaking fuel cell. This honestly isn't doing me any favors either as far as weight distribution and getting the bow to lift, but it is nice to have. I really don't put a lot of gas in it. I usually keep maybe half or less in it because this thing holds like 16 or 17 gallons. And the old F70 over there really doesn't use any fuel at all. I had a half a tank in it. I don't know, last time I was at home. I travel for work, so you know, when I come home I have a little extra time on my hands, and I've maybe burned 2 or 3 gallons within like 5 or 6 outings. It's really easy on gas, which is super nice. Now on to the bigger issues. This year model Express has transom issues. Well, actually, I'll start with my first issue. Transom angle was an issue. Really had a hard time getting on plane with this direct mounted. When I put the Circle S plate on, you can change the stops for transom angle, or I mean motor angle, when you're trimmed all the way in. So I'm able to actually get more negative trim by removing the bolt from here. I tried it here, but now we're actually resting on the chain stop. The guys from Circle S really helped me out with that, explaining why this would work for me to get the transom angle that I needed. It also helps me, especially with the foil, also from Circle S, to get on plane quickly in shallow water. But that was the first issue I ran into. The other issue that I didn't notice when I bought the boat, so this is on me, this is my problem. The boat had previous transom damage, so you can see there are some angle plates right here. I did notice those, but I don't know, I didn't really think much of it. These are actually bracing right here because this year model, they tend to crack right here. And I've seen several other ones and talked to several guys on some of the forums where they crack right here, and that stress also transferred down to here. There was a small crack right here that I didn't catch until I installed the plate. So this, I actually just repaired it. My neighbor is a welder. Luckily, we were able to trade some work. So we already had this braced. This was repaired. Doesn't seem to have any issues. And then there was a crack here. Come around. Also, there's a crack here. So I'm hoping that this is a good fix. If not, I've already discussed it with my neighbor about maybe adding some more bracing in here. Not really a huge fan of this brace right here because I can't use any sort of transom saver brace across the top, so that might be something else we'll figure out later on. But if this cracks again, we'll end up figuring out a way to brace more inside of here so that doesn't happen. The other thing that we had an issue with is I did inspect for hooks, but I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking right here in the middle, pretty much in between the bunks, and then from here in. I didn't notice that right here, and also this ugly son of a gun, this looks like crap, that is going to be fixed soon. I'm going to have some patch welds put in there. I'm going to grind this crap out. This just looks like JB Weld or something. It seals, it's sealed, it just looks like crap. But there is a hook right here. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it on camera, but there is a decent little dent. There we go, right here. So that, I'm, you know, trying to work through that without getting too crazy with it. But it's gonna end up happening. So the boat's at least riding decent now. I'm getting about 35, 36 out of it. And we're not plowing like we were. We moved the motor up. It doesn't plow like it did. It doesn't lift, but at least we're not plowing. So it's huntable, fishable, whatever. But what's gonna end up happening is this whole thing is gonna end up getting cut out. We'll probably, I don't know, cut all this, maybe leave some tabs so we can just, you know, bend it back. And this is full of foam. And so we're gonna have to dig the foam out, beat the hook out, and go from there. But, you know, that's another day. I can still hunt it, I can still fish it, take the kids out. You know, I'm able to do plenty with it for now, but eventually it'll get fixed, along with all the other stuff I did as far as wiring the boat. Had to get some lights, just got some cheapos on Amazon. You know, these actually work pretty good. I'm very happy with how those turned out. And then of course for duck season we removed the trolling motor and the trolling motor batteries in the back, but you know, it actually ran really nicely during duck season. I was able to get 34, 35 out of it, with it on that third hole without any issue, no matter what. So whether I had a full tank of fuel, sorry, baby monitor, had to double check, whether it had a full tank of fuel or 2 guys in the boat, 3 guys in the boat, just me, 35-ish is about what she'd do on the river, which, you know, I cannot complain with that. Going 34, 35 miles an hour when it's cold. Now it doesn't get that cold here in Texas, but when my schedule falls a certain way, and it always does, I pretty much miss all the first split, and then I end up being able to hunt full time pretty much from Christmas on because of my schedule. And you know, the past few years it's been freaking cold, so being able to go 30 miles an hour with it even remotely close to 30, you know, 30 degrees out, it is plenty cold. You know, actually my first year hunting on Livingston, because that's where I go a lot, it's Trinity River, Lake Livingston. I was on the other express, and I may be able to show a picture of it. If I figure it out, I'll put it in here. The old express, it's a 20-foot tunnel haul, great boat. If I could have kept both of them, I would have. I hated getting rid of it, but hunting by myself, hunting out of a 20-foot boat in the timber, you know, in the shallows, on the mud flats and stuff, it just, I couldn't justify managing it by myself when that's really all I bought the boat for. Anyways, it was 2 degrees at the boat launch that morning. I think it was like December 20th or something like that, 21st. This would have been 2022 duck season. That old Mercury had a hard time starting. It had a 2-stroke 125 Mercury on it. I got it started, but man, that was a cold drive. I was dang sure hiding behind that console, tucked in real nice, trying to get to where I was going because it was freaking cold. But I have this boat now. I'm super happy with it. I've been able to get in all kinds of places that I wasn't comfortable bringing the other boat because, for one, it was a lot wider, and two, this one, I can manage it by myself a little better. So, you know, I've gotten stuck on trees, getting wedged in trees. You know, I can manage this 18 foot boat a lot better than I can a 2072 Express, you know, big heavy boat. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything else anybody wants to see, I'll probably go over, you know, I'm missing something somewhere. And we're going to do some more stuff to it. I can't leave anything alone. I'm always looking to improve things. So if there's anything, you know, someone might want to see in more detail, or, you know, just check out, just put it down in the comments. We'll take a look at it. I'll try and go into a little more detail later on, but that's it. That's the boat. So I guess we'll see you on the next video.